हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू एग्जाम वर्ट। और आज हम आ गए अपने इंपॉर्टेंट बैटल्स की सीरीज में एक नया बैटल लेके। और आज जो बैटल है जो कि हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं उसका नाम है बैटल ऑफ बक्सर। ओके, बैटल ऑफ बक्सर। We have learned about the battle of Plassey. Now we are going to learn about the battle of Buxar. See, battle of Plassey established the administrative hegemony of a British Empire. Okay. The administrative hegemony of British Empire. It has confirmed the administrative brilliance of British Empire, the administrative cunningness of the British officials, like that of Robert Clive. Okay. Now, why Buxar is an important phase of Indian history? Why Buxar is considered to be the watershed moment of Indian history? See, Buxar is a battle that established Britisher as the foremost European power in India. Okay, foremost European power in India, because Buxar has left Bengal with not a powerful king. After the battle of Buxar, all the formidable powers of India are not in position to establish a pan-India empire like of Mughals. Okay, because after battle of Buxar, Mughals have to suffer a defeat. Awadh has to suffer a defeat. Bengal, we all know what happened to the Bengal after battle of Buxar. Okay, so all the major empires at that time, all the local powerful rulers at that time have been defeated at once in the battle of Buxar. Okay, and battle of Buxar proved to be of great importance to the British Empire. Okay, so now come to the battle of Buxar. Please remember the date and year. I have been telling you since the first video itself that date and year are important for the battles. Okay, 22 and 23 October 1764. It is not like battle of Plassey. It is not just a skirmish. It's a proper battle that was fought. Okay, it's a proper battle that was fought, because in this battle we have Indian army, we have European army. Okay, but that's the other point, that there are many Indians employed in the European army as well. Okay, European army consists of many Indians as well. Okay, so British hegemony over the local kingdoms in Indian subcontinent was successfully established during the battle of Buxar. I just told you guys that there was no local kingdom that can challenge the Britishers hegemony. Okay, because they have administrative machinery, heavy administrative machinery, they have local resources. Each and every officers have their personal incomes, personal wealth as well, because they were exploiting the farmans that were issued to them. Okay, because they were exploiting the farmans that were issued to them, or the duty free rights that they have got from the local kings. Okay, they have exploited them very badly. Each and every British officers has got hold of the personal wealth. Okay, that's why we will learn in modern India that how EIC got bankrupt once. Okay, EIC is on the verge of bankruptcy. You can imagine like what's the condition of EIC once the biggest company, biggest private company of the world going in the bankruptcy. Why it has happened? Okay, what are the causes that it has gone bankrupt at that time? Okay, and what are the demands that they have made from the British Parliament at that time? Okay, these are all the very detailed topics. We will learn them in the live classes. Okay, so the combined armies of Bengal's Nawab Mir Qasim. Please remember the names. It can be asked in your examination also. Okay, Bengal's Nawab Mir Qasim, Awadh's Nawab Shujauddaulah, and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. There was another name given to Shah Alam II because of his fondness with luxury. He was also called as the Palam Raja. Okay, he was also known as the Palam Raja. Now, why he was known as the Palam Raja? There is a place in Delhi NCR known as Palam. Okay, it's in Haryana, but it comes in the Delhi NCR region. Okay, So there's a place called Palam. Okay, so it is said to be that Mughal Empire's control over Delhi's throne, it is extended up till the Palam only. Okay, you just imagine, like, was the biggest empire of the Indian subcontinent, and now it is extending up to the Palam only. Like, it's so disheartening to see such empires gone into dust so early. Okay, that's a different thing, that's not our concern in this video. Okay, we will look them when we look into the Mughals, like what are the reasons for the disintegration of the Mughal empire. Okay, so please remember the rulers who were part of the Indian army: Shah Alam II, Mir Qasim, Abbas Nawab, Shujauddaulah. Okay, they have fought the East India Company in the Buxar War. Now, the British took advantage of the commercial privileges that were granted to them. I've told you about the farmers that they have got from the rulers for the duty-free trade, and how they were exploiting it, mostly due to their imperial and colonial ambitions toward the territorial, economic, and political conquest of India. See, if you want to conquer a country, and there are many ways. Okay, first you conquer its economy, then you conquer its political structure, then territorial conquest is automatically completed. If you have conquered the economy and polity of a state, then territory can be conquered easily. Okay, there is not much problem faced in the territorial conquest, because if you can conquer the economic and polity, then there is nothing left in a state. Okay, the silk, saltpeter, and world class textiles. Murshidabad was a very famous center for the textiles at that time. Okay, ढाका मुस्लिम, ढाका का जो मलमल का कपड़ा होता था वो काफ़ी फेमस होता था उस टाइम पे, उसकी बड़ी डिमांड हुआ करती थी वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में. इट वॉज प्रोड्यूस्ड इन बंगाल प्रोविंस, वर ऑफ इनॉर्मस इकोनॉमिक इम्पोर्टेंस. दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव टोल्ड यू, इनॉर्मस इकोनॉमिक इम्पोर्टेंस, बिकॉज it was in great demand in the western countries. Okay, saltpeter, indigo, rice, silk, cotton, handicrafts, and other goods are regularly shipped from Bengal to Europe, because there's a huge demand of these items in Europe and other western countries. Okay, 60% of British imports from Asia were made up of Bengali products. Now you can imagine what's the status of Bengali products in the market of western countries, and why it is a concern for the western countries, and how they have countered it. That's a very detailed topic, and there are many studies that were going on that topic. Okay, but it is not essential for our exam right now. When you came in masters, you will read about it. Okay, it's a very detailed topic. Now British East India Company and Mir Qasim's men engaged in combat. I have told you it's not a skirmish, it's a proper battle that was fought between the Britishers and Indian army. While the English won in Katwa, Murshidabad, Giria, Suti, and Munger, Mir Qasim suffered severely. Please remember the name of the places. Okay, please remember the name of the places that I have mentioned, because they can be asked in your examination. Okay, Katwa, Murshidabad, Giria, Suti, and Munger. As a result, Mir Qasim had to leave Awadh. He established a confederacy with Shah Alam II, or the Palam Raja, and Shujauddaulah in order to retake Bengal. But that move hasn't gone well for either of the three kings. Okay, because Britishers were superior in every aspect for the battle. Okay. In 1764, the Mughals, the Nawab of Awadh, and Mir Qasim fought alongside the British forces. Major Monro, please remember the name, a very respected officer in the British East India Company, Major Monro, a highly acclaimed major of British Army. Okay, please remember the name, Major Monro, oversaw the British side, while Mir Qasim headed the Indian side. The 40,000 men, Mughal, Awadh, and Mir Qasim united force were ruthlessly crushed by the 10,000 men British army. Now you can get it why I have been telling you guys that this battle established the Britishers as the powerful army as well. If Battle of Plassey is evidence of their administrative brilliance, this battle is the evidence of their army and strategic brilliance. Okay. The fight was lost by the Indian side, October 22, 1764. The other two submitted to the English forces while Mir Qasim fled the conflict. Okay. जंग में से भाग जाना काफ़ी पुरानी आदत रही है, काफ़ी पुरानी आदत रही है जंग में से भाग जाना. Like if you have fled the battleground, then you are lost. Okay. But some people refuse to accept it. Okay. इसी पर लड़ाइयाँ चलती रहती हैं, कौन छोड़ के भागा था, कौन छोड़ के नहीं भागा था. छोड़ के भागा तो नहीं, छोड़ के भागा तो हारा थोड़ा ही है. शेर जब 2 कदम पीछे लेता है तो पंजा मारने को लेता है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ठीक है. इफ़ यू हैव फ्लेड द बैटल ग्राउंड देन यू आर लॉस्ट. इट इज़ एज क्लियर एज दैट. ओके. इफ यू हैव फ्लेड द बैटल ग्राउंड देन यू आर लॉस्ट. इन 1765 British compelled the Nawab of Awadh and the Mughal emperor to sign the humiliating Treaty of Allahabad. It's a very humiliating treaty. Okay, it's a very, very, very humiliating treaty. Okay, because in Treaty of Allahabad, Shah Alam II has been pensioned off. कि चलो खत्म, टाटा बाय बाय, हो गया तुम्हारा काम, पेंशन पे जियो, चलो पेंशन पे छोड़ दिए थे मुगल राजा. I mean, just how disheartening is to see that the king belonging to one of the most powerful dynasty of the world at a time, and he has been pensioned off by some company that has been around, how was years old, around 2 centuries old, 2 or 1 century old. He has been pensioned off by a company just few years old. How disheartening is to hear about that. And how embarrassing is for the Shah Alam II that he has been pensioned off. Like, nobody can understand the situation in which he was at that time. Okay, but leave it, it's none of our concern. So Najim-ud-Dawla, Mir Jafar's younger son, he assumed the throne after his death. Please remember this fact. Najim-ud-Dawla assumed the throne. Okay, since the English held control over both the military and the government. Because after Buxar, Britishers have got various rights. Okay, and they have started to establish their loyal person in the administration. This was only an acknowledgement to the situation. Shuja-ud-Dawla of the Awadh and Shah Alam II had their differences resolved by the Treaty of Allahabad. Like the provinces which were acquired by Shah Alam II, which belongs to Shuja-ud-Dawla, or the Shuja-ud-Dawla who had taken the provinces that belong to Shah Alam II, they have been exchanged, and all the conflicts that have been resolved. This was led by none other than one and only Robert Clive. Okay. So, who has led the British forces in the Battle of Buxar? It was the Major Monro. Okay. And who has brokered the Treaty of Allahabad? It's the Robert Clive. So, don't get confused in between. The one who brokered the Treaty of Allahabad and the one who led the battle forces in Battle of Buxar, these both are two different personalities. Okay. So, don't get confused. So that's the Battle of Buxar for you. We will come with next battle very soon. If you have any query regarding the history live classes, this is the official mail ID. This is my personal mail ID. You can mail us anytime. Okay. And live classes are going on. Ancient part has been finished. I have been telling you guys, like, exam is very near. So please, if you don't want to rush for the exam and if you want to complete your syllabus on time with proper practice, then please do join our live classes, because if you join at last time, then it's going to be a lot of rush for you guys. Okay, and you can't finish history syllabus in 1 or 2 months. It's a very huge syllabus. Okay, so keep studying and thank you so much.